Reconnect, re-engage, rebuild. Today is talking about how we leverage past clients, people in our database, and our leads. The market may be soft, but that doesn't mean your business has to be. It means that you need to leverage what you have. And that's what we're going to talk about. You have opportunities probably sitting under your feet right now that you're not doing anything with. And today we're going to discover why you need to be doing something with it, the power of doing something with it, and how you can finally take control of your business no matter what is going on in the market. Welcome to Referral Roadmap. If you're ready to stop chasing clients and start attracting them through meaningful connections, you're in the right place. This is where we turn relationships into revenue, generosity into growth. Each week, we're going to explore strategies, stories, and my favorite, step-by-step actions that help you build a business fueled by referrals and relationships. Your next breakthrough starts right here. So let's go hit the road together. So I'm really excited. We've got a great guest today, and I'm excited for him to go into details. But Jada, we may have some people listening that would like to understand a little bit more about the topic. So I'll let you give them the definition.
Yeah, so today we're really just going to be talking about how you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just need to reconnect with those people who already know, like, and trust you. So, in
Mhm.
today's episode, we're going to be breaking down exactly how to turn your old contacts into new contracts. You'll know how to revive some dead leads, re engage past clients, and rebuild your momentum without spending a dime on new marketing. So, because you are sitting on a gold mine, as Athena and I like to call it, of past relationships and you're not tapping into it, you're not stuck. You're just underusing what you've already built. And so that stops today. And Athena, I'm sure you have a short and sweet story for us today.
I don't want to do too much of a story because we've got such an amazing guest with a lot of wealth of knowledge. But I do want to say this. This topic goes to the core of who I am because I've always said, I think people think I'm crazy. They're like, oh, this woman loves to prospect. No, I don't love prospecting. No one loves prospecting, but I love what prospecting with intent and understanding does for your business because I'm all about what can we control in our business? What is the things that no matter what is going on in the market, what is something that we can control so that we stay in front of our revenue? And this is it, you guys. I can't tell you how many people I interview in my consulting business or in training camps, and I ask them about their database, and I get, huh? Or I ask them like, what's their strategy?
Mhm.
Huh? And it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. And I know you guys know this. You're like, Athena, my God, just own a CRM already. But I'm like, when people say, I don't have a CRM, and I'm like, oh
Yeah, that used to be me. Don't make that mistake.
my gosh,
I've
right?
lost so much revenue over not having a CRM,
I
and
know.
and I it's like if I was gonna go to somebody that's like, "Hey, I need some help with leads," I would go to Athena. But yeah, I mean, it's that was me, and I can just tell you from a person who regrets not keeping a CRM. Now, I had a mentor that didn't teach me that stuff, and I had some success that was built on market conditions, personality, but it's not a real business, right? Because you're
No.
always having to kind of go back and recreate revenue. And so you kind of you'll be on a roller coaster until you build a database. So
Oh my,
that's incredibly important.
I know. I don't understand. I would just tell you, if you coach with me, you're not allowed to coach with me unless you get a CRM. So that's how important it is because you cannot enact the systems I teach unless you do that. And
We don't have a
so
business. You don't have a business unless you have a CRM.
amen. Hello. Hey,
I mean,
mic
look,
drop moment.
Like, we're 4 minutes in and we already got a mic drop.
well, look. I mean, I don't care what business you're in. Okay, if you're a dry cleaner, okay, if you are a dentist, if you're a doctor, if you are whatever business you're in, if you're a
Amen.
restaurant. Okay, that's why when you go into Walgreens, they want your email address because they database is essential to business today. And one of the things that people don't understand is they go, "Oh, this is so funny to me because it's like, well, you're going to email people who looks at email. It's like people who actually buy things have an email address and they check it. Okay,
I love it. Okay.
so yeah,
I gotta say, so our guest is one of my favorite people on the planet, and he has wisdom, and already he's dropping mic drop moments. But Jada, who the heck is this guy?
He is Brandon Baca, and I am very excited to announce him, introduce him, all the things. Um,
He's worthy of an announcement.
I'm so excited. I don't even know what words I'm supposed to use. But anyways, Brandon, he is a real estate industry veteran, having closed over 200 million in personal sales, and is the founder of 10 Oaks Real Estate, which is a residential real estate company with offices in Texas, Tennessee, and Oklahoma. He is a world-class real estate coach and has a passion for helping the real estate agents and achieve personal and professional success. So we're so honored to have you here, Brandon. Thank you for being here.
Well, it's a blast. I'm always happy to chat with Athena. So no, it's such a pleasure to be here. I'm excited.
I really appreciate you guys. So you guys know I've known Brandon for over a decade. At one time he was my accountability partner, and now he's a dear friend. I love watching his success, but most importantly, and it didn't say this in there, but he has an enormous heart for helping people grow and helping people achieve and understand their potential, which is one of the reasons why he's here. He doesn't have this on there, but he also is a daddy of how many babies? How many kids
Six
you got?
children.
6 kids.
Yeah,
Amazing.
And a
yeah,
gorgeous, beautiful wife that, I know helps him keep it all together, but
for
so
sure.
he is a man that understands the juggling, of all the things that we have to do, but today I really wanna go deep with him about this relationship piece and how you take over your, business. Now, if you're in real estate, you want to listen to this. We will give you information how to connect with him because I am telling you, if I was in real estate, I would take his courses, just to let you know. Okay. If I was in real estate, this would be the guy I would, especially if I was new to real estate, that he would be the guy I would go to. So I want you to listen to that. Those of you who are not in real estate, don't not stay on what he's teaching. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, you're going to want to take notes. I want to thank everybody for being here, for listening. I'm going to say this again. Please like and subscribe, but the biggest thing, share. This is free information. Share this with somebody that needs this information to transfer their business or their life or both. So, very important. Please do that. It's not about marketing me, it's about getting this information in the hands that you can help change somebody's life. So, please do that. So, I want to
What I
dive
can
in, friend.
Yes. Well, what
Hey.
I can tell you, I was going to say the thing about real estate because even if you're
Yeah,
not a
yeah.
real estate person, the ratios in real estate are so rough. Like the amount of work that we have to do to sort of turn over leads in this business or what we sort of become accustomed to. If you do 50% of the things we talk about today, you'll be an industry leader. Just because I mean, think about it. Everybody knows a real estate agent, right? So how do you stand out? And so, yeah, just do 50% of it and you'll be fine. But
Mhm.
yes, yes, if you're not a real estate person, still stay dialed in.
Yeah, I mean, come on. All right, so Brandon, and we had stated this, but you've sold over 12 million, and then I want to really say this because this, especially if you're in the
Wait,
real
not
estate industry,
12, 200, 200
200,
million.
sorry,
12 million.
200
Yeah,
million.
that's like,
He's like, I do that a year.
that's
But
like
I
1 year.
wonder, yeah, 200 million. But I want to say this because a lot of people say, oh, he's part of a team, so his team sold that. No, we're talking about what he's individually sold, right?
Yeah. Team sales, so yeah, that's individual stuff, and and I still do some sales per year. But I mean, if we were to do team sales and stuff, and I don't mean to be like super egotistical, but it's over 1 billion in combined
Right.
sales between team and
All right. I
company
want to
sales.
say that because if you're listening, there's too many. I see this often where teams will be like, oh, I sold this much. And I'm like, okay, that's a team. What we're
Yeah,
talking about, and the expert I'm talking to, not only does he help teams do it, but this is his individual experience. So as a leader and an individual. So again, 200 million, boom, by himself. But you also lead major teams. You coach throughout the United States. But tell me this, what role did relationship building play in you getting to where you're at today?
it's everything.
All
I mean,
right.
relationship relationship is the whole thing, right? It's so it's like what role did it? Yeah, I mean, it was basically it's the business. The business is built on relationships, plain and simple, and your ability to not only make fast friends, but also to nurture that relationship over time. And I'm sure we're going to dig into this a little bit today, but it's like, well, you have sort of the initial, interaction with a client, But if you're a real estate professional, you've got to nurture that client over years and years and years until you get the point where I am, which is like some of the people that bought houses with me. Well, their kids are buying houses. That's what's happened over 17 years. So yeah, you want to nurture those relationships long term.
Mhm. So when we're talking about relationships, and I know this because you and I have known each other for a minute, how important relationships are to you. You have done a good job at nurturing our relationship as well. But I have to share with our listeners a really fun story about how I met Brandon.
Oh,
Uh huh. So I have this is it's I used to, and I teach this, but when you go to networking events, if it's not a luncheon, okay, where it's not a set schedule thing where you've got to sit your bohiney in a seat. If it's just a mingling, I always say go about 15 minutes late. And I'll tell you why. Not because I'm like to be late. This is a side benefit note here, y'all. I always go about 15 minutes late because if you assess the room, you'll see who the connectors are. You'll see the people that everybody flocks around. Okay. Now, you'll see that because they make other people feel comfortable. Okay. So those are the people you want to connect with. And so a long time ago, I went to a networking event downtown Oklahoma City and I did exactly what I just told you. I came in 15 minutes like and I assessed the room. And I realized that many people were congregating around Brandon. So I thought, okay, well, he's the guy. So I did exactly what I teach and I went over and I waited till everyone, he had a second. I don't even know if you remember this, Brandon, but I sat down and I think I said something like, you seem like a very important person in the room. Tell me your story or something like that. And you were kind enough, you were like, sit down and you gave me a conversation and you told me about you and about what you do. And it was from that conversation that we continued to have a relationship. So, um, that we mutually, I think I had to search you out for a minute because he was bigwig and I was nobody at that point. So, I had to keep going after him. But, I did and I wasn't afraid to. But that is the power of relationship. And he and I have been able to do a lot of things together, speak on stage together, all because of the relationship building. And so I just think that's fun. And it shows even way back then, if you weren't a relationship based person, those people wouldn't have been surrounding you.
well, that's very kind. Was this at Deep Deuce Grill? Is that where we were?
Yes.
This many years ago? I was remembering
Yes.
as you were telling us, I was like, I don't know this story. Oh no. But
Yes.
anyway, so yes. But I will tell you, I'm not a small talk person. I think there are a lot of people out there that think it's like, oh, I've got to be able to like be a small talk person or be this sort of bubbly individual. And I'm not that. As a matter of fact, the first thing that I do when I get to a party is I look for a place to sit down and have a drink because I despise small talk. I don't, I really want to get into meaningful conversations with people. And so I only say that to say that a lot of people think you have to be a certain personality type, in order sort of to build relationships and really um, deep, meaningful relationships. Um, that's really kind of my bag. I'm
Mhm.
not really interested in sort of lighthearted type stuff. So yeah, so you don't have to be that bubbly person at the party. You can be the person like me who sits down. But either way, it's just about connecting and finding your tribe, and you're not going to be friends with everybody, and that's fine.
Mm-mm. No, and by the way, I think the deep conversation is what made us click because we both went into deep. I tend to be deep too. But
Yeah.
okay, so staying connected to people is not the easiest thing. You and I both have coached many people, and staying connected, nurturing relationships is difficult for a lot of people. But you've been doing it for decades. How do you intentionally maintain those relationships over time? Tell the audience so they can learn how to.
I mean, there's a mixture of ways that, you maintain relationships with people depending on kind of where they sort of fit in your life. Because, for me, I'm doing business with very close friends or family members sometimes. I'm doing business with people who are maybe business acquaintances. I'm doing business with people who I just happened to meet at an open house or whatever. And we probably all have different categories of relationships and that we do business. Hopefully, your friends and family are doing business with you to some extent. And so there's that part that's just being a good friend, right? Maintaining friendships from on a personal level. But when you kind of get on the outer, the outskirts of your sort of relationships, that's where it kind of starts to get difficult. And it's like, okay, well, how do I stay top of mind? And the way that I have found that's been the most successful in staying top of mind is to actually think about what those people need and deliver it to them.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's like so having a service based versus a look at me approach. Social media is the same way. I see realtors doing this all the time. And I see people who are afraid, business leaders who are afraid to do social media because they don't want to be perceived as a look at me. And what we teach, from a coaching perspective is, and a marketing and from a uh, marketing perspective is to find your avatar, like who are you actually talking to, and then give them what they need. So a lot of our interaction with people is not, "Hey, are you ready to buy and sell a house tomorrow?" I would run off all my friends if I did it that way. But it's more like, okay, so for me, just
Uh-huh.
as an example, um, our avatar is uh, uh, moms and dads of families that are living in our area. Okay. And they've got kids and their kids are going to school. It's like, okay, so we're talking to them. Well, what do they need? Well, first is like, hey, what's going on this month in our community? What do I need to go to? Because people with kids are always looking for things to do. So one of the things that we send out is an event calendar for the month, right? We're going to get high open rates on that. Another thing is like, okay, if I'm a mom and a dad, we need to go on a date night, and I'm sick and tired of all these old restaurants that we're going to. Um, let's talk about a new restaurant that's coming. And what that does, it does a couple of things. One of them is that it connects those people. You're giving them something that they need or that they're interested in, but you're also helping that business owner out, right? So
Mhm.
you sort of become the mayor of your town. So in terms of like keeping relationships, I certainly own that there are different levels. But if you're trying to sort of catch everyone, you need to think about what they need out of life, not just what we're doing in terms of service provision now, or if they're buying a house in the next 6 or 12 months. That's one of the things I hate about sort of modern lead generation. Is like, yeah, call everybody and ask them if they know anybody that's willing to buy or sell a house in 6 to 12 months. It's just a good way to
Mhm.
unmake friends because they're like, oh god, here's Brandon. What does he want?
Yep.
He's going to call me and ask me if I know anybody. It's like,
Mhm.
but if you build authentic relationships, those are going to come to you anyway, right? My sister-in-law used to say, "Hey, a friend of mine's buying a house. Can you help her?" Of course, right? But it's because I have an authentic relationship with a family member. So that's the only thing that I would say is like, think about service first, serving the person that you want to attract, and then everything else after that's easy.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this too, just as somebody that sees this all too often. I think a lot of people think you can't if you have a database that is fairly large. I see people overwhelmed, like, I can't have an authentic relationship. I can't stay in touch with them. That
Mm,
is a fallacy.
yeah,
Okay. That's a fallacy. That is not true. What you do is to Brandon's point, you have to know who your people are that you're talking to. Then you need to understand what would interest them. And you can I believe that you not only have emails that go out that are important to them, but touches. Physically pick up the phone, text, and have those relationships. I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna call beep on you if you think that your database is too big to do that. It is not. There is a strategy. One of my clients I'm working with is a 60 plus $1 million international e-commerce business. And he and I sat down and worked out how he stays in contact, talking phone here with his database. right? And so even though he's e-commerce, because what he's doing is double downing in the relationships that he already has gotten, not new ones, and how does he leverage those to expand his business? So whatever, if you're listening to this, it doesn't matter how big you are, it doesn't matter if you're e-commerce, if you're in real estate or what you're in. This is a lever. This is a leverage and lever to take your business to the next level. Now, I will say this, even in those conversations for my big tech company friend, they're still authentic.
Mhm.
They're still honest, they're still helpful, and they're not salesy. Okay, right? And so I think that's really important to understand because I think so often I personally, if I hate the blanket text where I haven't heard from somebody in a minute and I know it's just a blanket text. I hate that. Do you hate that?
Yeah, hate it.
I hate it. And I know I laugh about this, but if I get one more text about how to lose weight, like people have never met me or they've met me once and then they send me this big old text or a DM that's like, "Hey, I've got a weight loss drug for you." That's not how you sell, people. Now you've just ticked me off because you would never go have coffee with me and be like, "Hey, Athena, it looks like you're fat. Here, I've got something for you." Right? But you think that but you say it online. Just, that's not building a relationship. That's actually being offensive. Just FYI. It happens to
Um,
me every week.
yeah,
What?
and I wanna say something about authenticity, because I think in this world there's a lot of noise in the world, and people are looking for authenticity, right, in the things that you write or put out into the world. And there's also something else that's pretty amazing about marketing, which is something that I experience pretty often, which is, if you're getting out there on social media or you're putting videos and stuff like that, which by the way, you should be doing video. Kyle Draper, if you've had him, he'll tell you.
Oh yeah.
But that's a really great way to build relationships with people. And what happens is you'll walk into a room and people will really feel like they know you, even though they don't, right? Even though it's like, hey, I may not know this person, they're going to feel like they know you. It's a really interesting and amazing thing. And it's happened to me a couple times over the last week. But one of them was just like a neighborhood bourbon party I went to with the guys in the neighborhood. Now I went in there and just think I'm like, I don't even know any of these guys very well. But I was like, I need to go kind of do some networking, shake hands, either to neighbors. And I had so many comments from these guys on, "Hey, man, I really thanks for the stuff that you're putting out. Really helpful. I was really encouraged by that. You're preaching the good word, man. Thanks for what you're doing." And I had that comment, and I go, "Oh, it's just a reminder that, hey, look, I have a level of relationship with these people, even though I'm not talking to them every day. So there's a way to do things that create leverage in your world or your atmosphere as well that are authentic,
Hmm.
even though you're not having, sit down for coffee with every single one of them."
Right. Love that. I love that. Have, I have a question for you. So, have you seen, because I know you also know a lot of business owners, so not only agents, but business owners who absolutely overlook their database, past leads, lost leads, clients, and as far as like in developing or growing their business? Have you seen that?
Well, absolutely. Yeah, I was talking with an optometrist the other day about it. He's asked me to coffee because like he
Yeah.
asked me, Brandon, like, how do I do what you're doing? So yeah, I see that in business owners all the time.
Why do you
Lost
think
op-
they're missing that? Why do you think it's such a blind spot for so many?
they're too focused on being a technician and not focused on building a business. So, and not to, it's like, okay, well, this optometrist is really good at his job and he's getting some natural business that's coming in and he's sort of dealing with that. So he's like tactical, but you have to be strategic.
Mhm.
Okay. Because what he needs to be thinking about is not just giving great service, which he's already doing. That's fantastic. But how do I actually build something that could someday be sellable, by the way? Right. If you're ever like, by the way, if you're a business owner at all, you need to have a sellable business just from a practical standpoint. Because at some point, you're going to want to make an exit, right? Whether it's now or 20 or 40 years from now, you're going to want to make an exit. What do you have?
Mhm.
If you don't have a database, you don't have anything. It's worthless. right? So you
What
have
do
to
you
have a database of clients. And the more
okay,
engaged your database is, the more it's worth.
okay, so I 100% agree with you. One of the things that I think is interesting, and this could be like a little debate we get to have, and not that I don't think you're going to disagree, but I think this is something, if you're in real estate, Brandon, why do people in real estate not have that mindset that their database could be sellable at the end of their career?
Well, because they're thinking in terms of um, how would I say this? They're the same thing. They're thinking about being technicians and selling houses and making money, but they're not thinking of the long term impact of
Mhm,
that. And also, guess what? Let me tell you something. Once you look, if you're a real estate agent, okay, you should have a trajectory that puts you into a sellable position, right? And that's going to be a database. Now, not a lot of agents. The reason agents don't think that way is because there's not any of them that are very few of them that actually do it, which is crazy. It's ridiculous. It's a business principle in every other industry,
mhm.
but realtors are thinking about, oh, I just got to sell that one house and make this $15,000 and do this or whatever. And they love doing the deal, but they're not thinking strategically about the long-term impact of their business because what they should be doing over a 20 or 25 or 30-year career is building a database that someday, guess what, turns into a brokerage. And guess what you can do with that brokerage? You can sell it,
Yeah.
right? And you
I
can sell a
it
database.
it blows my mind why people don't think through that. I've actually thought about, um, creating a system to teach people how to do. I'm like, come on, you guys, this is. But
Even if
um,
you were an individual agent, what I would say is build your database, find a really great agent that understands databases, and then you can sell it to them and take 30% off the top of every lead that comes from them. They'll guess what? They'll tag it in their CRM to you. And then every time one of those leads reach out to buy something, guess what? You win.
okay, so the database, obviously, I mean, we're talking a lot about the value of it. But right now, okay, so the market right now is a little bit not as good as it people would like it to be. I'll call it that. And here's the thing. I believe, tell me if you agree with this. The only way you make it through hard times is because you have a database that you have nurtured and leverage and maybe you go deeper. Agree? Disagree? Tell me what you think.
Well, yeah, for sure. Basically it's I think of it like especially this past market. Do you guys like remember this is maybe a little bit of a dark analogy, but it's like, okay, like, when a tsunami's coming and then everybody's just out there like grabbing fish. Look at all these
Yeah.
fish that are out there and they're not thinking about this big wave that's about to come hit them.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like, that's how this market has been. It's like, oh, well, there's sort of this post COVID rush towards housing, but nobody actually worked on their business. And so when the wave came to hit them, which is this market, well, then they're scrambling. Right, and they're like, and they don't even know what they did, right? And
Hmm.
so, um, yeah, yes, I see a lot of that in this market, which, it's like, look, we're just like everybody else. I don't wanna act like, oh, everything went, gangbusters for us. It's like we had to learn some of those lessons too and go, all right, well, this is maybe not a valuable lead source. Hey, what are our ratios on these things? Okay, are we getting our bang for our buck on everything? So we had to do an audit of our stuff too to find out, what was working and what wasn't. But what I would tell any agent now is start practicing now
Hmm.
things that are going to feed you in the long run. It's just like, okay, if you're working a 40-year career, you ought to be taking a part of that and investing it.
Hmm.
But,
Oh yeah.
what happens when you stop working? It's the same thing. Your database work as a real estate agent or as a business owner is your investment.
Hmm. Yeah, I want people to really hear that because I'm going to be very transparent with you guys. So you guys know I'm a partner in a home building business, and in this particular market, not only in this market, but some things have changed. There's a lot of things that worked in marketing that have switched. We're not seeing the same impact. Maybe with Google Analytics, or because they've changed their algorithm so much, or with social media ads, etc. A lot of the things that we just, you could put a dollar in and get $4 back are not as easy and they're not producing the same amount of results. I say that because I want you guys to understand it's not, there is a multi-layer complexity going on currently right now in business, which is why you have to be right on the edge of knowing what's next and what you've got to do. Well, in the home building business, this in the last year, we have gotten half the web traffic and half the referral traffic. Okay. Now, the referral traffic is a lot to do with what's going on in the market. The web traffic is a lot to do with all the analytical changes. So I'm going to say this, if my business did not have the database it had with us nurturing it and loving on it, we would be in dire straits. Now, I wish we were doing better than we are, but I'm going to tell you, we're going to do better than we did last year with half the leads. We
Hmm.
Mhm.
could not do that without that database. And it's not because we just started loving the database, it's because we've been doing it year over year. This is what I'm talking about, where you can become a little market proof. Now, is there a lot of things I would have liked to do better? Is there things I wish I would have known so we didn't even feel the hurt that we're feeling? Yes, 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 and yes. But I'm telling you, we I don't know if we'd be in business. Honestly, I don't know a company that's been in business since 1964. I don't know if we would be if it wasn't for our database and the way we have nurtured it. So I really want you to hear that from me in a different world than just real estate. I'm telling you guys. But to Brandon's point, I'm going to say this: in real estate, you guys, a lot of your competition is not doing it. So if you want to kill it, this is a way to kill it, right?
Yeah. Well,
Right.
depending on, yeah. So just to sort of state what you were talking about, it's like with database and email and all that stuff. Guess what? When you have people's emails, they can't be taken away from you. If you got your business based on Google ads or Facebook ads or Instagram ads, which those things work for a time until they change the algorithm, and then you're screwed, right? So it's like, well, if you've got an email database with all of your contacts, guess what? You have the platform. You own it. And for real estate people, what I would also say to them is like, what do you think Zillow is? That they're selling these leads, by the way, for 35 for 40% back to you. They're a big freaking database. And all they're doing is trying to get people in that database. And then guess what? They have somebody that reaches out to them based on their activity, and then they turn them over to you and take 40%.
Ouch. Mm. I did
I
not
didn't
know they
realize they
took
took
that
that
much.
much percent. Dang.
I had no idea.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow. So, has there ever been a time we're talking about just staying in the relationship, and have you ever had a moment where you reconnected with someone maybe years later and it led to unexpected business or opportunity? Because I think people don't believe this stuff happens, but does it?
Oh, no question. Absolutely happens. I just closed on a house last month. Third house this client's bought from me, and actually ended up, so I was in Oklahoma. She was an Oklahoma client. She moved to Tennessee, and she bought a house from me in Tennessee. Okay,
That's awesome.
and but that's the third transaction over the last 10 years. Okay, wouldn't everybody want to get three transactions out of a client? But it's long term thinking, not short term thinking. So
So
yeah, it absolutely works.
did you
What's that?
continue to nurture her in even though you were in a different state?
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. No question. So, yeah, even though I was in a different state, and there's still clients that I have in Oklahoma that I refer to agents there that can handle that business. So, yes, I mean, that's made me, lots and lots of money. So, no question.
Mhm.
Having a database, having staying in touch with people, and guess what? People even move from here to other states, right? And staying in touch with the database, I can still make 25 or 30% referring them to another agent. Which of a real estate transaction, by the way, that's a lot of money. So, yes, it doesn't matter how many states or whatever, but just yes, I think we've driven the point home about people's database. But yes, I mean, the nurturing of the relationship, you really have to have a 20, 30 year, um, mindset in business in terms of developing these people because and you have a life cycle of a customer and things like that, but you really have to have that long-term thinking.
Mhm. And I think going back to what we're saying is these are relationships. There's probably if you have given value and that you are authentic and you're kind, I want you guys to not be afraid to re-engage if it's been a minute. If you've gotten busy, right? Brandon, if you've gotten busy and you haven't engaged with people,
Yeah.
re-engage.
Just
I
tell
think
them you
it's
dropped the ball. Just be
yeah.
like, "Hey, I'm so sorry I dropped the ball. I have not talked to you in 4 years. What are you up to? I wanted to reconnect. I wanted to apologize for that, but I would really love to know what's going on with you in your life."
Mhm. Do
Really.
you have I know we have seen this in both of our businesses, but I would be interested to hear this from you. Are you pleasantly surprised at how excited people are to reconnect?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And I want
I
people to hear
I
that.
very rarely have been like, "Oh, I can't stand you." No, everybody is usually just very, "Hey, it's great to hear from you. What are you up to? I saw
Mhm.
you on Facebook," or whatever. Yeah, of course. People are always, especially if they had, a good experience with you, um, yeah, they're always happy to hear
Mhm.
and never really
I don't
bothered.
want people to be afraid. Go
Oh,
ahead.
yeah, I've never really had a situation where somebody's like, dude, you really, no, I don't wanna talk to you." I've never had that happen.
Because
Most people are
when I teach courses, Brandon, one of the biggest things I get when I ask people, "Why aren't you, nurturing your people?" And they say, "Well, I haven't talked to him a little bit. I don't know what to say. I'm awkward. I'm embarrassed, whatever." And I really want people to hear from 2 people who have done it. People are excited to hear from you.
yeah.
Don't be
To
afraid.
me, that's your best opportunity to get business is those people that you dropped the ball with, maybe you didn't stay in touch with them, but say, "Hey, we're
Mhm,
doing something in our business. Hey, we've got, we're re-engaging some of our past clients. We really wanna build some really good structure here. What I wanna do is I wanna invite you guys to this thing that we're doing. We're doing this Santa shoot. Bring the kids, take a picture with Santa," or whatever that looks like for your business, everybody. But I do think that, especially for real estate agents, you should have an event calendar, um, to engage with your clients. But,
mhm,
I'm sure that would work in a lot of businesses, maybe not for some, but yeah, there's always something, and I like to call with an invitation.
mhm.
I like to call with an invitation. So,
That's nice. If you're able to do that. The other thing I had actually written down on my notes, recently, is for us on in our business to start a "We miss you" campaign.
uh-huh.
"We miss you. It's been a
Yeah,
minute," and re-engage, and explain why we miss them. So, there's all kinds of different ways have an event, miss you campaign if you can't get everybody together. There's all kinds of ways you can. I think the big thing that Brandon and I are telling you is be brave, just do it, and you'll find that people are probably excited to talk to you. All right, Brandon, so everybody listening, you have a lot of wisdom, but any last words of wisdom for our listeners today?
yeah, I think I would just say that, well, sort of restating some of the things, something that we talked about, that, authenticity is the currency in today's marketplace. Like, being real with people about who you are, what's going on with your life, and if you look at sort of even, big picture, um, even if you're a movie star, people are looking to get to know who that person is. Even if you're a NFL player, people wanna know who that person is. And so for you as a business owner, people wanna know who you are because they're gonna connect with you and your vision. And to me, that's the currency of today's marketplace.
Mm. Love that. Love that. Thank you for being here. Stay on. I might need some more of your wisdom, but Jada, we always go into facts and figures because we like to see we want to tell the story, but we also want people to understand the science behind it. And then I'll give some practical tips. So, is there any science behind what we're saying today?
Of course there is, and, may bounce some of these off of you and Brandon just because 'cause I'm curious, I always like to see how the science aligns with what we talked about today. So I'm curious, before I read the statistics on this, do you think it costs more to gain a new customer or to retain and reactivate an existing past customer?
Is that a question for me?
Either one of you guys, I'm
Okay,
curious.
Go ahead.
yeah, it's way cheaper to re-engage a past client than to get a new one. New client because you've got advertising dollars or you've got, all you got is to spend a ton of money to get a new client. So acquisition cost is something that you should be looking at as a business, and your cheapest acquisition cost for a client is to re-engage.
Hmm,
Mhm.
I love that,
It's
and
like
the
by a
science would
factor
agree
of
with you.
like 3, right? It's
Do what?
it's like by a factor of 3. It's like 3 times more expensive, isn't
5
it?
times more,
5
actually.
times more expensive, yeah.
Yep. So, according to the Harvard Business Review and some of their research they did, it costs 5 times more to acquire the new customer than to retain or re engage a past client. So,
No question.
no question. I just thought that that one was a fun one to bounce off you guys. The other one is from Bain and Company. Their research states that the average businesses lose 20 to 30% of its customer base each year simply due to the lack of communication. So just remember, silence is expensive.
Yeah, it is.
Good, that's a mic drop. Silence is expensive.
Silence is expensive. That's going on our Instagram or Facebook
Yes,
or all the
exactly.
socials.
For sure.
And then the last one is Nielsen and Wharton School of Business. In their research, they found that referrals are 4 times more likely to convert and have a 37% higher retention rate than other lead sources. So I think that goes back to something Brandon mentioned earlier. You know, his authentic relationship with a family member is what gained him that referral, not him being salesy or constantly talking about his business with those people.
Yeah, I'll speak just a minute to referrals.
Yeah.
It's the best source, period, for realtor recruitment, for, getting new clients or real estate clients, because you've already it's somebody that they trust, that they've asked, right, that's referring you. You're gonna close that, right? So it's extremely valuable to give great customer service along the way. So that, and by the way, for real estate, when people are transacting, that's when they're talking the most about it. So you can get a lot of referrals sort of while they're going through that. But yeah, referrals are by far the best lead source.
That's good. All right, Athena, what practical tips do you have for us today?
Well, all right, you guys. And by the way, you guys all know I agree with Brandon. Referrals, referrals, referrals. Hello, gives your bandwidth back too. But how do we apply this stuff, you guys? That's, I like to the rubber meets the road. How do you take this? Again, I hope that you will save this if you're on a treadmill or driving, so you can write these things down later. But here they are for you. Number one, we'll keep it short and sweet today, right? Number one, make a list of your top 25 people that you need to re-engage with. Top 25 people you're thinking. It could be past clients, it could be warm leads, it could be referral partners. Just today, make a list of 25 people. Now, I'd like you to not stop there, but again, baby steps. So make a list of 25 people. Do what Brandon said. Don't be afraid to say, hey, gosh, you know what? I've abandoned you. I haven't been taking care of you. I'm so sorry. Tell me what's going on in your life. Right? What you don't do is what Brandon said, is you don't call them and say, hey, I want to sell you something. We don't do that. Re-engagement doesn't mean selling, it means building relationship. So think about that and what can you do to serve them, help them. So re-engage with 25 people and offer them love and help. Number two, 5 personal check-ins this next week. Okay, I'm not talking about a newsletter. I'm not talking about an email. I'm talking about, hey, I'm thinking about you message, DM, text, phone call. I like a phone call. I'm old school. I'm old. I like a phone call. Although I do know a lot of people respond much better by text, so I will do both. But a check in, call somebody, how's it going? How's business? How are you? How's the family? Whatever context that you know them, go deep into that relationship. You'll never know what you could learn. You have no idea what business could come out of that. So I think that that's really important. Go into it fully just trying to build a relationship and going deeper in that relationship, and you'll be surprised of all the beautiful things that could come from it if you do it authentically and well. Number 3, create a 30-day re-engagement plan. I love this because I'm all about, you guys plans and systems, but a 30-day. Okay, for the next 30 days, I'm going to touch this many people. I'm going to touch this many referral partners. I'm going to touch this many warm leads, if you will, this many past clients. Whatever categories you have, make a list. It could be calls, text. It could be a small gift, right? It could be updating, but it's not a pitch. Okay. So it's all about just, you know, basically like that I miss you campaign, but with a phone. All right. So I miss you. I'm going to re engage. I'm going to have conversation with you so that we can go deeper and I can learn more about you and where you're at, what's going on with you. And number 4, Um, I'm gonna say this. When you're talking to people, you guys all know I hate the word referral. I don't ask, like, if I was talking to Brandon, I wouldn't say, "Hey, can you refer me somebody?" I always feel like that puts the pressure on the other person. What I would say to Brandon if I was reconnecting with him, so this would be a real life example. So Brandon, I'm looking for new speaking engagements. So if I reached out to Brandon and said, "Hey, friend, I just want to let you know I'm expanding my speaking bandwidth. Do you know anyone I should be talking to, Brandon, that book speakers may be interested in the topics that I share?" You see how I'm asking for a referral, but I'm not saying the word referral? And I'm being more specific, very important. So when you're talking to these people, you can ask that question. Do you know somebody else that I could be able to help or that I could connect to? It For me, I feel like it puts less pressure on the other person. It also gives them clarity of what you're looking for. And I think it makes it more exciting for them to connect. I don't know. What do you think? Brandon, you agree?
Yeah, I mean, and I would probably the only tweak that I would probably make to that is I would go, hey, especially with maybe a leader, I say, hey, I want your advice on something because I'm wanting to expand my business, and I really respect you. I know you probably see speakers all the time, and are kind of pouring into your business. So, what would your advice be for someone who's wanting to expand that, right? And usually that it triggers something just a little bit different because people love to give advice. They really do.
Yes.
And when you ask them their advice, they go, "You know who I would connect with if I were you?" Right? And I
Yeah.
like so yeah, that's a nice little,
Love that.
sort of engage in just a slightly different part of the brain.
Love that. Love that. I hope you guys heard that. I needed to hear that because that's actually a call that I will give to you in the next couple of weeks, Brandon. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'll know what you're
I'll
doing
be like,
then.
"Hey, Brandon, I need your advice on
I'll
something."
be
You're
like,
like,
"Oh, are
"Dang
you
it."
doing the advice call?" Yeah.
All right, you guys, final challenge today, and this is it, right? Take one action. So today, pick one person that you know you need to reach back out to and do it today. Just one baby step today, do it, get it done. Don't pitch, don't overthink it. Just have relationship. Just be you. And if you stumble over your words like we sometimes do in this podcast, oh well, you know, have fun with it. You'll never know what could happen. So be brave today. Brandon, thank you for being here. Jada, how do people connect with Brandon?
That's a great question, Brandon. How do people connect with you?
You can go to theagentbridge.com. If you want real estate coaching, you can go to 10 Oaks RE, 10oaksre.com. If you want to buy a house, we'll help.
Awesome. I'll make sure both websites and just, shameless plug your YouTube channel for the Agent Bridge are
For
also in
sure.
the show notes and then your social medias, of course. So that way, anyone can find those, even if they were driving in the car or on the treadmill, just click a simple link when you get to a safe location. Other than that, I will make sure that the season 6 resource guide is in the show notes. It will have goodies from this entire season. So we still have a few episodes left. So if you download it now, you might get a sneak peek at some fun and exciting topics that we'll be talking about coming up. But other than that, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can join us next week as Athena brings real talk and real strategies. We'll see you then.
Thanks everybody for being here.